Hey there, before I start, you might hear some funny noises in the background. Let me show you where that noise is coming from. See, this is what I'm looking after at the moment. This is not my house, by the way, so not my dog neither. So that's how it is. Long story. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is the possible problems with mixed relationships. Now, before I start, most of the relationships I have been in, not all of my relationships have been mixed relationships, but the majority of the relationships I have been involved in are mixed relationships. The best times in my life, the best treatment I've had in my life has come out of mixed relationships. So I'm not going to be cussing anyone or slagging anyone off for being involved in it. It's not. I'm not going to tell anyone how they should and shouldn't be living their life, or who they shouldn't and shouldn't be falling in love with. That's none of my business. You don't owe me anything. I don't owe you nothing. What you do with your sex life is your business and your pleasure. Right, so I've made myself clear. Right. So, here in London, in the UK, we have, well, London's supposed to be known for the highest number of mixed couples anywhere on the planet. It's supposed to be the mixed couples planet, global planet. We have a combinations of couples, i.e. from white men with black women, black men with Asian women. When I say Asian, over here in the UK, we normally say Asian, we normally talk about India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I know in America, Asian normally refers to the Far East, but we have a black man with Far East Asians as well. But the most popular mix here in the UK, especially London, is black man, white women. And that's what I want to focus on in this subject here, this video here. Now, I've written a book about my journey on the dating scene, and this is one of the many subjects I have focused on. So I'm just giving a summary of what I've written about. Now, the possible reasons that you come across with white women. Shush. Oh, God, I did warn you. Right. Now, this also applies to a black woman with a white guy. But as I'm talking about my journey in the dating scene, I can only talk about my experience with women. Anyway, there are three types of white women. The inner city woman who would have went to school with black people, got lots of black friends, and she would have witnessed some of the problems that us black people have for herself. So when you bring up the subject of being stopped by the police or being discriminated, or you got to try harder to get half the result, she knows what you're talking about. She's not going to accuse you of having a chip in your shoulder or having an issue, because she would have seen it for herself, and she's the best case scenario. So let's put her to one side. So let's talk about the other two. There's one or two things that happen with the other two, who normally comes from the shires, i.e. Hampshire or Buckinghamshire, the leafy suburbs, countryside. Normally from a privileged background as well. They'll either be naive and totally out of touch, or in denial. And if they're in denial, they normally feel uncomfortable and don't really like bring up subjects, and sometimes they feel somewhat embarrassed, even though you're never actually accusing them of anything, but they just feel uncomfortable about some of the possible negatives that comes from their culture. Every culture has a negative, so I'm not here to point no fingers. Anyway, let's use a quick scenario. Let's say you've gone on a date with your middle class, privileged white woman, and you've gone to a nice picturesque pub beside the canal in the Hampshires, and a lot of people are giving you that stare. Now, most people of colour would know what I'm talking about when I say that stare. Most white people would not be aware of what I'm talking about, that stare, because they wouldn't have received that stare. They wouldn't experience or being on the receiving end of hate and that kind of negativity to be on the lookout or to be able to discern that stare when it comes. And I'm not being patronizing, I'm just stating a fact. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. I'm just stating what you more than likely wouldn't have experienced. So you then turn to your girlfriend and say, well, can we go somewhere else because I feel uncomfortable? A lot of people stare at us. there's a possibility you're going to get, oh, you're so ridiculous. Oh, you've got such an issue. You've got such a chip on your shoulder. Oh, what's wrong with you? Now, she may be right in that scenario. She could be wrong. Worst case scenario, let's say she's wrong. Sadly, she'll be the last person to realize if there's any danger, because she would not have been on the receiving end, so she wouldn't have the vision to know to discern the body language. So she'll only realize there's danger when a bottle's flying over or someone shouting out nigger. Whereas if you're with a woman of color, you walk in, you get that stare, you just look at each other and you think, yeah, okay, yeah, let's leave. You may be right, they may be wrong. We don't always get it right as black people. I've been in situations where I've mistaken situation what I thought was blatantly racism. Like when I was in Poland, I thought I was about to have a fight with some guys. When they walked over to me, I had my fist clenched ready because, you know, the way they were looking at me when we was taking photographs with these women. And incidentally, over in Poland, where we get a lot of attention over there as black guys. Anyway, so I thought, oh, fuck me, they don't like the fact these black guys, these niggers are getting this positive attention from white chicks. So they're coming over for us. So I'm getting ready to throw a punch if need be. Next thing, excuse me, can we have photograph with you? I thought, boy, how wrong could I have got that? So you see, we don't always get it right. Sometimes we got to, us black people, we got to take a step back and, you know, take a second look, you know, because we've had such long experience. Sometimes we overread things. So, you know, we got to be fair, you know. So that's the kind of summary of what I'm saying. That is one of the possible problems. One of the possible problems you can have with a mixed relationship. I haven't even got into a situation with kids yet, but I do cover this in my book. So I'm just kind of giving a quick summary of the possible reasons. But I'm not, like I said, don't get me wrong. I am not for a minute saying you shouldn't get involved in a mixed relationship. It's your love life, your sex life. I am no one to tell you how you should live your life. It's your life, you live it, you find your happiness however you can. Thank you very much, and I'm glad the dog didn't bark too much. Okay, bye.